This here is Officer Abel Ramos. This is Jenny Paddock. If it weren't for them, I never would have, I probably never would have been decent to any of those kids. I would have continued to try to run them off. And although I did still continue to run them off, I was just a lot nicer about it. And that's because of this officer here and this officer here. Before I get started with Natalie's Natalie's messages, I'm gonna go to this here. It's the email between her and I. It's just a screenshot of it. Okay, so I guess I'll start from the beginning. So my mom left when Alicia and I were 3. She was 19 and married to my father. He was cheating and beating her. My dad told her that he was going to kill her if she didn't leave. Sorry about this. I want you guys to be able to read it too. It's just being a pain in the butt. So she left us as well and moved to Rhode Island. My dad was in and out of jail, and somehow my mom heard he was facing prison time. Alicia and I were 8 at this time. My dad was in the run, and my mom shows up. I knew who she was, but I was told awful things about her my whole life, that she burnt me with cigs, etc. But part of me knew no one it was true. I was being raised by rich wolves. My mom fought for us for months. She got custody because we were being raised by awful humans. I was happy to leave, but I didn't know this woman I was calling Mom. I had a brother I'd never met, and I hated him. My mom left our family and started a new one, but he was a baby, so I didn't hate him for long. My dad moved to Rhode Island running. We went back and forth between them for years. My mom would lose us for having dangerous men around. Then we'd go back to my dad until he'd start doing drugs again. My dad got custody of us. He wasn't allowed to drink because he becomes demonic, but he's my dad, so of course he did. He was having an affair at the time, and I was woken up by screams from my stepmother, Shelley. They has 2 children by this time. He had been drinking and was trying to kill Shelley. He was hitting her face on the curb repeatedly until she wasn't moving. There was much more, but yeah. So my mom got custody for a long time. Then she married this very abusive man. It got to the point where the judge said he wasn't allowed near of us children. But he scared my mom, so she still let him live with us. Meanwhile, my dad moved back to Colorado. He came and proved he was there and took Alicia and I shortly after had us selling drugs for him at 13 or 14. He was hitting us and doing drugs with us while being a little too friendly. So my sister told on him. This was while I knew you at the park. We were put into foster care. My mom had moved to Virginia to get away from her husband, and we were in and out of foster homes. I hadn't spoken to her in a year or so before I asked her to come get me. They were going to hold me in a group home until I was 21 because I wouldn't stop getting high. We moved to Virginia, and I think you know the rest. But that's most my story. So I guess we'll start the story. This is Natalie Marie Bollinger. I suppose I should start off with the last time I saw them before this, and we'll find that part of the story, of course, in a bit. But they were underneath the library, and when I made my rounds under the library, there was one girl in a sleeping bag with Emery, and one girl in a sleeping bag with Arturo. I let them know that that wasn't okay, and that they needed to go home. Years later, many years later, I had hurt my back, and I was sitting by actually I think it was before I hurt my back, just prior to it. I was sitting in the alley behind, over on Broadway and Pearl Street, and Natalie and Alicia were walking with two older gentlemen, looked to be mid to late 20s, and one of them ran up and gave me a hug, and they told me to hit them up on Facebook. So I did. That was 8/19/2015. They had to write their name down so that I would be able to find it, because I never bothered to find out their names. I typed, "Hola, it was nice to see you in Boulder. Was trying to get stuff done before it was too late, so I did not see you when I returned. I hope to see you next time you come to Boulder. Be safe." They wanted me to come back and meet them that night, but I had a lot to do. I was trying to make the world a better place, and I had blankets to pass out, and I had to make myself safe, which was basically my nightly routine. She was only 17 at the time, and I didn't know that. And that was the only message between us before she turned 18. Now here, 4/7/16, she's 18 at this point, and it's been a few months. She types, "Hey man, I don't know why, but I just saw this. I was so excited when I saw you last time. I have about you a lot through the years. I hope you're doing well." I typed, "I'm trying. I suppose that is well enough. How are you?" She typed, "I'm good. A little stressed with work, but it's all good." I had a job at the time as well, by the way. Well, not at this point. At this point, I'd already hurt my back, and I was being harassed by the police every night, couldn't get any sleep, and they wouldn't leave me alone. But we'll get to that later. I typed, "I get that. Not working due to back issues, but trying to find a job. Artwork doesn't pay well. Trying to make a Lego set for adults takes a lot of time, hoping to make boats and such." She typed, "That's really cool, man. Being an artist is hard to live off. I tried. I had to get an office job." I typed, "I'm trying for both. I love doing art, but I love to eat as well." She typed, "No kidding, dude. These are some I've been working on." See, she's pretty badass. I typed, "Nice. I started off as a portrait artist doing mechanical stuff now." She typed, "Rad." She typed, "I had a crazy dream about you." I typed, "Did I turn into an apple?" She typed, "A guitar case, actually. Ha ha. It felt like I've had that dream before. You showed up to this like magically pub I was in, and I freaked out and ran to you, and you did want anyone to know you were with me, so you'd turn into something when people would show up. It was really odd, but I felt like I missed you a lot." I miss her so much. I typed, "That makes me smile. I'd rather be a guitar than an apple anyway. People don't eat guitars." She typed, "Haha, it was interesting. I don't understand it. I don't know, it made me really happy though." I typed, "I'm glad. Most folks who dream about me tell me how scary I was, or they don't tell me nothing about it. It's nice to know someone thinks about me, even if it's subconscious." By this time, since I'd hurt my back, I hadn't had any friends in my life. It was hell. She typed, "I don't think you're scary. I've always admired you quite a bit." I want to stop it there. If you guys look at my face, see I'm bald. I got a beard. I got no teeth. I'm not a pretty man. Most of my adult life, people walk by with their kids. I don't know who these people are from Adam, and they point at me and they say, "Stay away from people like that, or he looks like a chimo, or he looks like a rapist." And I'd never do those things, but we'll get back to it. Because I talk trash at hobos bigger than me, or because I'm funny? Just kidding. I think you were pretty awesome too, but I don't exactly hang out with you And I could be some super psycho cat lady. I'm glad you don't think I'm scary. Lots of folks do think I'm scary though, but I'm scared of people, so I try not to hate them for being scared back. Honestly, I'm scared of people who are scared of me, and there's good reason for that, but she typed, yeah, but I used to hang around you. This was a couple of years ago. I just thought you were interesting. You drew a badass dragon on me once. I don't know. I used to see you almost every day at the park. I just liked you. Cat Chang can remember the day that I drew that dragon. Cat Chang was trying to make money at Creek Fest, and she had some Sharpies and was making money doing that. And I don't even remember drawing anything on Natalie. I remember there was 4 or 5 people that I drew on. I typed, well, I always liked you. You smile a lot. You were nice to me and talk to me like a person, which is refreshing, but I never really try to get to know the kids out here. In Nebraska, where I'm from, you can have friends all ages. And I did. Miss Jerry was my friend, and her daughter I met when she was 9, and I met her 2 boys when they were 11 and 12, I think. I'm not sure. You know. Anyway, I'll get back to reading though. But I never really try to get to know the kids out here. In Nebraska, where I'm from, you can have friends all ages. Here, folks see a hobo around a teenage girl, they start looking for excuses to lock him up. So you're worth knowing for certain, and I am sorry I did not spend more time learning about you as a person. That's because I was always trying to run them off. I was nice about it though, because of Officer Paddock and Officer Amos. She typed, I understand, man. I was younger then, too young to be down at the park every day. I typed, for sure. I try to put on the sick old man routine, but most of the girls who hang out attract boys that age, and pretty soon there's little boys and little girls in sleeping bags with old creeper drunks. It's not effective though. I'm not effective enough at scaring them away, I guess. She typed, yeah, I don't like seeing that shit. I typed, me either, which is why a few of us try to discourage little girls from showing up. Still, I know who is good to me, and I choose to be good to them. You have always been good to me. I don't drink or mess around with drunk women. It just ends up bad. Worse if she's 12. She typed, yeah, there were a lot of dudes doing that to girls when I was down there, but yeah, that shit is always gonna happen. I typed, true. It was very good to see you when you got back to Boulder, and having seen you twice since then, not at the library, I'd say you were doing good. I live at Starbucks though, makes sense. That is where I usually see you. How have you been? Well, since you are an artist and not 12, my number is... Feel free to send me pictures of your drawings, or even just cool landscapes if you ever catch a good sunset or thunderstorm. I haven't figured out how to download my pictures from my phone yet, but as soon as I get it figured out, I'll send you some pictures I'm working on. I started as a portrait artist. She typed, you must have seen my sister. She's in town, but I've only seen you once since I've been back. I typed, I saw you and your sister and 2 gentlemen on Broadway in Pearl when you first got back, and thought it was you the other day with Pierre, but I also thought I saw you walk past Starbucks a time or 2. She typed, that was my sister with Pierre. I typed, well, now I get to feel like a turd. Honestly though, after not seeing either of you for a few years, I don't feel too terrible about confusing you at a distance. If we hung out every day and I still got it wrong, I'd probably have to get my head checked out. She typed, LOL, it's cool, dude. I typed, yeah, looks like I turned out not to be an apple or a guitar case. She typed, that looks really neat. That was seriously one of the most interesting dreams I've ever had. Yeah, I'd like to blame myself for being so awesome, but you were the one who had the dream. I often have one where I'm cuddling, but it's not really cuddling because I open my eyes and it's me hugging me. I only have dreams about folks I know, if I talk to them before bed or worry about them. She typed, that's kind of cute. I typed, are you still drawing? She typed, yeah, I'm kind of lacking inspiration right now, though. I typed, find someone fun to hang out with. When they leave, just think about them and something will pop up. I get in a rut where I'd rather learn than draw, but I end up drawing what I'm learning. She typed, that's a cool idea. Do you draw people? I typed, yeah, I started with people actually. I even have a few people I taught how to draw people. Miss Jerry Sparks is one of them. Jennifer Frericks I started teaching. That was not intentional. She typed, would you be down to draw me? I typed, of course. I've been drawing boats and airplanes for a while. Could use the practice. I haven't drawn a person in probably 2 years. And I did draw a picture of her. And the media, they saw that I drew that picture and they fucking went to town at me like I was a terrible person. You know, Natalie asked me to draw that, right? She typed rad. I typed my number. I gave her my number again. I get text and calling free and can accept pictures if you draw something cool and want to show it off. She typed cool. I typed, do you have anything specific you want drawn? Like, is it a senior picture for your parents, or do you want to be Tinkerbell or Harley Quinn? She typed, haha, I don't care, man, whatever you want. She sent me that picture, and that picture, and that picture. She typed, this is my favorite picture. I typed, well, I'll see what I can come up with. I like all three of these. Might put a rainbow in your hair. She typed, haha, cool. I typed, I'm back in Boulder. Might not be drawing for a few days. Gotta earn coffee money so I can sit and scribble. Hi. She typed, hi.